Hello, hello, my friends. It is Aldo, and welcome back to the Knights of the Nerd Republic. You know what to do, and stay profitable.
The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Hello there, and welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic, the show where your favorite nerds talk all things about the galaxy far, far away, and a little bit extra this week. I am joining you guys from the future of the Jedi Council episode that we have recorded. I'm very excited for you guys to hear it. So the basic gist of this episode was inspired by Mesa Windu on Twitter and TikTok. I reached out to him to come on the show. I believe I say this in the show as well. I reached out to him. He never got back to me. And I want to make it clear that the concept here is not an original idea from myself. However, I do want to pay Mace some lip service, as I did get the idea from him. He never got back to us about being on the show. So yeah, we went ahead and did this. So what we're doing is we're building a Jedi Council out of non-Star Wars characters. I think there's a very fun conversation. I think we got to the root in many ways about what to each of us a good Jedi makes. Wonderful conversation. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this episode. I'm super proud of it. Cannot wait to hear what you guys all think. But before you get to hear all of that, we have a brief word from our lovely sponsors at Sunday's Bloody Mary. You guys know the drill by now. SundaysBloodyMary.com has the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the galaxy with their 3-time award-winning spicy Caesar mix. Their mild and traditional mixes if the spice is not for you. And if you want to get your freak on and garnish that bad boy, you can go on over to their also award-winning pickled dilly beans, okra, and asparagus, and salt that rim if you're feeling freaky. And also check out some of the tomato-themed merch as well. And as you can see here with this little banner, they are running a little bit behind on some shipping stuff. That's just what happens when you're that damn good and you have the best Bloody Mary stuff on the damn planet. So get on over to sundaysbloodymary.com. Use code TNAP, TNAP at checkout, and get 10% off your order and help out your favorite nerds while you do it. And yeah, also other programming notes, barring acts of God in Congress, Spencer and I should be seeing Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny this weekend. If that changes, I'll let you guys know. Like I said, I am upset with how delayed our review has been. However, things happen. I appreciate your patience. I'm very much excited to talk about Dial of Destiny. What else? Yes. Also, number one thing on my priority list is to start reading Star Wars The Blade so that I can get us adequately prepared to do Porter Engle versus Count Dooku. Again, thank you all so very much for your patience. Spencer being out of town, I've been busy. New job stuff, and obviously the stuff that happened last week. And Heroic History 101 is back at the $5 tier of the Patreon. Go ahead and check that out and listen to Travis and I talk about Flashpoint. But without any further ado, I present to you a Jedi Council beyond a galaxy far, far away.
It's going to be interesting.
It is going to be interesting. And we're here. You guys have probably already heard from Future Jared, who's talking at the beginning of the video. And if you clicked on it, you know what we're talking about. We are going to be building our non-Star Wars character Jedi Councils tonight. I'm very excited for this. As I probably said earlier, I want to reiterate here in case I forget to say it later when I record the intro. This idea was semi-stolen from Mesa Windu on Twitter and TikTok. I want the record to show that I did reach out to him to see if he wanted to come on to talk about this, as I didn't want to fully ape his idea. He never got back to me, so credit where credit is due for the idea. Don't want to pass this off as our own cleverness here, as that would not be true, as none of us are that smart here. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm very excited how this is going to work. Everybody's going to have a full Jedi Council of their own. And then each person kind of has their 3 big picks. And we're going to go through those picks. And then at the end of the episode, what we're going to try to do is see if we can cobble together a Jedi Council piecemeal from everybody's lineups. But we are going to start with the person who will be leaving us at some point over the course of the festivities today. One black leader, Travis Grossman.
Oh, wait, I forgot the soda. Oh, God, I forgot my soda. Hold on. Wait. Got it.
Yes! God, I missed that.
I almost genuinely forgot.
That would have been heartbreaking. Travis, I am going to full screen you while you can give the introductions here to your first character, and we can go from there.
Okay, wait. Oh, God. Oh, no. Before we start, do you want me to start with the one that Cray and I share? Or because I know who it is.
Up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll start with that one. So,
okay, cool.
My
And
first
I will have
video.
that locked and loaded.
Yeah, my first video clip one is Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna do anyone from DBZ at first.
So do you want to give the explanation now, or do you want to run the clip first and then explain?
We'll run the clip first.
Okay. Cool.
I used this specific clip. Oh no.
Oh no. There we go.
Okay, so you felt that one, right?
I did.
And you're still just going to put this off?
I might.
All right, I've had enough of this. I have literally been sitting here meditating for the last 3 hours. Thank you, Mr. Popo. 3 hours. So either shit or get in my body. No.
Listen, I still need to feel the situation out.
What the hell is there left to feel out? Between your cryptic warnings and jerking me around, I'm pretty sure an entire city is either missing or dead. You're the Guardian. Start acting like it.
Yes, I am the Guardian of this planet. And you wish to take that title from me?
Are you kidding me? This can't be about the job. The first chance you had to drop this gig, you tried to hand it off to Goku. Goku! He doesn't even look after his own kid. I look after his kid more than he does.
But it's still my job, my responsibility.
And that's really good and all. But if you don't fuse with me, the entire world you're guarding might be destroyed.
Maybe I'd rather it be destroyed than ever have to be a part of you again.
Mom, Dad, please stop fighting. So that's what this is all about, huh?
No, that's not what I...
No, it's fine. I was kind of a dick. I get that.
Listen, Piccolo. I've been the Guardian for over 300 years. I've seen wars, sickness, death, and worse. All the while trapped on this lookout, unable to interact with the outside world for more than moments at a time. Now the only chance I have left is giving up my free will to someone else. It's just another prison.
Wow, I didn't...
It's fine. I'm done anyway. You're right. If I don't do this now, we are likely to lose everything. But know this, Piccolo. Once I fuse with you, the Dragon Balls will be no more.
That's not a problem. We've got a whole planet of our people just waiting to make us more.
What do you mean, our people?
Stop being a smartass and let's just do this already.
Well then, Mr. Popo, I suppose this is goodbye. It's been a trip.
Yes!
Well, I'm sure you're already familiar with the technique.
Right.
All right now. Lower.
Yeah, not falling for that.
I didn't think so.
Oh my god, I'm coming down! Ooh, that was crazy. So did you actually eat Kami, or was that the acid? So this is who we were, huh? Hello? Got real quiet. Holy crap, are they finally... of course not.
Isn't this the part where you chant to yourself?
Shut up.
Come now. We should do whatever feels right.
Oh, please no.
You can win. You feel great. You can do this.
Hey, Piccolo, could you pick up Yajirobe? He doesn't have a... God, crap. Well, I know someone who's not getting invited to Sunday brunch.
Yeah, that's good. So like my list primarily consists of characters that I thought mostly go through an arc that brings them to a point where the like bureaucracy of justice doesn't apply to them. They're just like, I just want to help people. I just, want to do right by others and myself. And Piccolo's kind of a sleeper 2 pick because it's Kami and Piccolo and how their story starts as one, separates, comes together, right? So
I also just want to make a quick note for anybody unfamiliar out there. This is not actual Dragon Ball Z. This is a parody series called Dragon Ball Abridged, which I laughed my ass off at the fact that you use the abridged version for Piccolo and it still works perfectly.
I've been watching the creators have been doing like a rewatch commentary thing, and when they went over that scene, they were like, "Yeah, this is the first time we were like, what if we just did it basically all serious? Like, what if we just did a very serious scene for Piccolo and Kami, and it's just the scene from the original series, but with more relatable dialogue." And Popo's on acid.
We love acid trip, Mr. Popo. But like I said, while we're at the juncture, Kaysen, if you want to elaborate on your pick for Piccolo as well, kill 2 Namekians with 1 stone here.
Yeah. The reason that I had picked Piccolo, like the clip that I picked for him, was him protecting Gohan. Like the clip that I picked was when he talks to Gohan as Earth is about to explode, and he's the last one left on the planet because he let Goku escape. It's from Super, so like maybe not 100% canon, but it's there.
Oh, isn't it? No, it's from GT, right?
Or GT, not Super.
I was also thinking of that moment.
Yeah, it flashes back to Dragon Ball Z as well when he jumps in front of Gohan with Nappa. So it's like he does some real Jedi shit, and also Piccolo is a kick-ass stepdad.
Absolutely. I mean, and the funny thing again is someone who's gotten to cheat a little bit and see everybody's sneak peek, see a sneak peek at everybody's video clip ones. I've been really entertained by the fact that there has been this great overlap between just about everybody of everyone's picks meeting at some point of like prodigious martial prowess and leaning into either the loyalty element, the well-defined sense of justice, the selflessness, the ability to be a protector of people who cannot stand up for themselves. Like I was so not that I expected like anybody here to like not understand what made for a good Jedi. There's a reason why you were the people I wanted to do a Star Wars podcast with. Kind of an understanding there. But it made me so happy to see this level of like of this level of getting it that everybody had. That has excited me so much for this for this episode. So we got Piccolo down for both Travis and Kaysen. Are starting with some overlap there. Travis, are you ready for your numero dos?
Yeah, so you tasked me with a lot of anime picks, and about half my list is anime picks. And I also only submitted 2 clips because anime speeches tend to be long as shit. So I got 2 4-minute clips, and I'm just going to split my list in half instead of doing it in thirds. So I'm going to do all my anime picks right now. So my next one is Jinbei from One Piece. And I don't want to go too into it because like the moment that made me decide on that is a big spoiler moment, but also finding the clip just was impossible. Like it was either just the spoiler or just none of the speaking of the clip. It was really weird. But at about the halfway point of where the series is currently, like right before the time skip, Luffy's been separated from his crew for at this point like 100 episodes and has experienced the worst trauma of his life. And Jinbei is the guy. He's a fish man, which is pretty cool. And Jinbei shows up and he's like, Luffy, that sucked. What just happened really sucked. But there's something that's going to pull you through this. And Luffy's like, oh my God, I still have my crew. And Jinbei's like, you're goddamn right, you still have your crew. And yeah, just those moments of emotional maturity are things I look for in Jedi Masters. And then Jinbei goes on to join Luffy's crew much later in the story. As kind of like a dad, like most of Luffy's crew are like 18, and Jinbei is solidly much older. So like having a dad figure is very cool for them.
I haven't watched a lot of One Piece, but what I have seen of Jinbei is great.
Jinbei is the GOAT.
I don't know if I've met Jinbei because I have watched so many like spurts of One Piece being in the room that I don't even.
You definitely haven't. Jinbei's not even introduced until like episode 300.
Oh, okay. So I've definitely not met Jinbei.
Yeah.
Okay. I can solidly say I don't know. Cool.
But he's like official. He has his statue in Japan because all the One Piece, all the Straw Hat crew have statues across Japan.
I wish we did that in the States. I wish throughout the United States of America there were statues of Avengers. That would be
the reason that happened is because one of the tsunamis destroyed the city that Oda donated like 800 million yen or 800,000 yen. I think it's 800 million yen to like help the reconstruction effort. And they were like, this is so generous. We're going to build golden statues of the One Piece characters.
I love that. That is such a fun.
Right.
There's such a fun homage to philanthropy to be like, hey, we'll put your fun little cartoons here forever in gold.
My next two anime picks are both from Naruto. One of them's Naruto. Shocker. And the other one's Kakashi. Naruto is most known. So I did pitch a video to Jared for Naruto. I tried to find the hour loop of the swing set, but I couldn't find it. There's this very famous swing set that because Naruto's an orphan who eventually grows into the like, no, bad guy, I understand your pain, but it's okay. We'll help you work through it and we'll make you a better person. That's what Naruto does to every villain in the show, mostly. And every time he does it, it cuts to a shot of that goddamn swing set he sat on when he was like 10. And so I tried to send him an hour loop of that swing set. But Naruto's like the only shonen protagonist I can think of that we see properly mature besides like Goku, and Goku's questionable. And watching Naruto mature from rambunctious 13-year-old to like president of the world literally is such an arc for him that by the end of it he's solidly, he'd be sitting in the council chair, no issue. And Kakashi's kind of already there from the start of the show. He's been through like a world war at the age of 10.
No, which one's Kakashi? As you explain this to me, I'm going to be Googling.
White hair, where's his headband over one of his eyes.
Okay, I have seen people say that Kakashi gives big Jedi. There was on TikTok a bajillion years ago, I think I showed it to you, Travis. There was this person who was like reimagining Naruto characters as like within the Star Wars universe. And I think the first one I saw was Kakashi, and it was just straight up Jedi Master Kakashi.
Yeah, he also eventually becomes Hokage. He's like, because Naruto's too young when everyone decides like, okay, this kid's going to be president of the world. So Kakashi's the filler one. But he's been through basically everything a real human could go through in 90 years in about 15, and then somehow survives mentally through that. and goes on to be Naruto's teacher and just kind of helps everyone around him, helps old ladies cross the street, the Jedi way.
Absolutely, absolutely. It gives such Jedi energy, and I do want to say, kind of like encapsulating this run of skipping over Jinbei a little bit, like the Piccolo Naruto Kakashi thing. These are all picks that to me scream High Republic. For Connor and Spencer, like for you guys who I know aren't super into Dragon Ball, like the training arc that Piccolo takes Gohan under. I meant to say this earlier and I kind of forgot to. Is very like Loden Greatstorm shoving Belzetafar out of the speeder, like where he's like I'm gonna like you're gonna fly. I will not let you fall. I will push you off of a great height. Like you will not fall to your death. I'm going to make you fall a little bit so that you can see that you can fly. And there's a lot of that, and I can see Piccolo being an incredible like filling the mentor role of Master incredibly well. And from everything you've said about Naruto and Kakashi, I can see Kakashi being this like embodiment of like what like the best the Order could offer during the Clone Wars. Where obviously there's the whole conversation about whether or not the Jedi should have been involved in the war to begin with, but like the people who rose to the top still holding on to the tenets of the Jedi Order the best. I see that very much with Naruto and Kakashi, with how you've explained it, because I am very much the layman with Naruto.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was kind of shocked because I was going to go just Naruto. I was only going to get one pick from Naruto. And then I was as I was looking for clips to send in, I was like, ooh, there's a couple of other characters that I think would fit really well. Kakashi being the main one. And then the one I didn't include is Gaara, that I won't go too in depth on, but just basically Naruto, but he was actually a villain for a little bit.
We love a redemption story.
Indeed.
Especially in Star Wars.
Notably, not in any of my anime picks or any My Hero Academia characters. A lot of the characters I picked are characters that have had a complete arc already. Like Naruto's finished, so easy to pick those. Jinbei hasn't been in the story a ton of One Piece, and so I don't know if they're going to do any like big arcs with Jinbei in terms of his personal character. Besides because like Jinbei's lived the whole life before he meets the Straw Hats, so. And same with Kakashi, right? Kakashi's pretty much a finished person by the time we are introduced to him.
Right.
So most of the My Hero cast are undergoing arcs simultaneously through the story. And so I'm going to wait to see, like, because the manga's coming to a close pretty soon. So likely there will be characters from that get pulled off and that would like supplement the list a little bit. But my last anime pick, sleeper pick, I'm going to have to really explain this one, is Jaden Yuki from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
I can hear Michael McCoy losing his shit that there's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Character on this list. Continue.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Lore is the GOAT. So here's the thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is the greatest deconstruction of shonen anime to ever exist. The story is like, so arc 1 is happy-go-lucky shonen protagonist saves the world. Arc 2 is happy-go-lucky shonen protagonist saves the world again, but it's a little more serious this time. Arc 3 is happy-go-lucky shonen protagonist loses his friends and as a result becomes a genocidal maniac, then recovers from being a genocidal maniac, and then Arc 4 is him dealing with the post-traumatic stress disorder of being the main antagonist for an arc.
Michael, can you I'm sorry, Travis, can you give me that name again? Because Michael desperately needs to know who you picked.
Jaden Yuki. Yuki spelled Y-U-K-I. He might know Judai instead, depending on if you watch sub or dub. Probably dub.
Jaden Yuki, okay.
So...
Sub or dub? What a strange little phrase that I am not familiar with at all. because I just
Subtitles
watched
is in
it.
you're listening with the you're watching with the
No,
Japanese
I know what
dialogue.
you,
Oh, okay.
I knew immediately, but I was just like, is that a thing? Like, if you just throw around the term sub or dub, is somebody gonna know what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's a thing.
it's a constant debate, and especially with Yu-Gi-Oh, because 4Kids television, which we probably all watched as kids.
Yeah, like the
are-
Fox Saturday morning block.
Yeah, are famous for any anime they got a hold of. They had to like un-Japanese all of it. So like all the names in Pokemon are changed. Not all the names, but like a lot of the Japanese references to like food and stuff are changed. All of the Japanese names in Yu-Gi-Oh are changed. Like Jaden Yuki is supposed to be Judai Yuki. But yeah, Jaden's arc after he deals with murdering thousands of people kind of comes around and is like, I did this terrible thing that got a lot of people endangered, and he has to deal with that. Like the entire final arc, as the plot starts to happen, his friends are like, oh dude, we gotta help you, we're gonna do this together, and Jaden's like, back off. The last time this happened, you all died and I went crazy. Back off. And by the end of the show, he ends up being a card game nomad that just goes around helping people in need, which, like, Jedi.
I like a wandering Jedi. I like a wandering. It's very Jedi way seeker. In the High Republic, it's very bearish vow. You know, I can get down with that.
Yeah. So that's kind of my meme pick, but also I fully support it.
I will say Alden and Michael are not approving of it in our group chat. They were very excited for a Yu-Gi-Oh pick and are wagging their finger at you through the digital ether.
Yeah, I
Should've
gotta know
picked
who
Joey
they're...
instead.
Okay, you know what? Joey's also a good pick. Joey's pretty good. Joey's the best duelist in the show.
Why do you fight? For my dad.
I mean, again, this is already like such Star Wars on the plate right now.
Yeah.
Let me fight for my dad.
He's basically Luke Skywalker.
We're getting to that with one of Spencer's picks. Don't you worry.
Wacko from the Animaniacs. So that
was like I
concludes
told you, Jared. Jared had asked me for Naruto clips because he was like,
because
"Point me
before
in the direction of
Travis
Naruto
hit me
clips."
with his, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, and I sent him the Naruto versus Sasuke fight, and I was like, choose something from this because this is basically the Anakin versus Obi-Wan of Naruto.
Yeah, that is true.
Like the homies just duking it out until they're both like, oh fuck.
Just scrapping.
Yeah, except like Anakin still has a shred of humanity at that moment and wins and doesn't kill Obi-Wan.
Right.
You know? God. I remember talking about that fight on the playground, being like, dude, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And
Absolute insanity.
We didn't know how to use the internet yet. It was insane. That's my anime half.
Oh, so I'm gonna assume the other half is DC Comics.
The quarter of it is DC Comics.
Okay. Can't be too predictable here. I know we
no.
share one in this leg of the conversation as well.
We share two.
We share two.
We share two. No, we share three. But one of them is in DC Comics. So
okay.
If you want to start my next clip for my first
cool.
My first non-anime pick. Which is kind of an anime pick in terms of lore insanity, but
long-time TNAP listeners already know what's about to happen. All right, let's get this one queued up.
Silencio! 22 years ago, I stood where I stand now and watched my loved ones die, betrayed by those I had called friends. Vengeance clouded my mind, would have consumed me, were it not for the wisdom of a few strangers. taught me to look past my instincts. They never preached answers, but guided me to learn from myself. We don't need anyone to tell us what to do. Not Savonarola, not the Medici. We are free to follow our own path. There are those who will take that freedom from us. Too many of you gladly give it. But it is our ability to choose whatever you think is true that makes us human. There is no book or teacher to give you the answers, show you the path. Choose your own way. Do not follow me or anyone else.
That's good. You can cut it now.
Cool. It was very funny in that, like, in the same way that it's a running joke, like, oh, look at this new piece of media Jared's experience. Here comes somebody with a sword and a cape. I wonder who his favorite character is going to be. That you going Ezio's on my Jedi Council should have been that obvious coming from a mile away, and I was still like, boom, great. I didn't see that coming. I don't know how. I felt like an idiot. I'm like, of course he's going to pick Ezio, and of course he's going to pick this scene.
I had to. So thinking of the clip is what made me think of the character. Yeah, the Assassin's Creed story until they stopped writing stories was basically always a person who has an ambition that they can't quite narrow down and is negatively affecting them, and then meeting the Assassin Order and thinking that they're using the Assassin Order as a means to an end for that ambition, and then eventually realizing that they can do real good with the assassins and understanding the mission that they're on, and kind of finding purpose in that, which Luke and the Jedi.
Well, it's funny you say that, because there's a lot of legend Sith Lords who take a very similar approach to the Jedi and the Force. And I think it's really fascinating that, Ezio kind of embodies the story that Frida Nad and Exar Kun and Anakin Skywalker kind of use their membership within the Order as a means to an end in many ways. And we obviously see how it corrupts them and warps their spirit. Whereas Ezio comes out the other side, more of a Jedi type character.
Yeah, Ezio, Edward, Connor to a less extent, but all three of them are basically have the same arc, just with their own personal touches.
Yeah,
and they do some more complex stuff with later games again. And
I didn't realize I was in Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
this is news to me.
I regret to inform you that I'm pretty sure it is spelled with two N's, and it is also a Native American assassin who is kind of unwillingly given a much simpler name.
I used to remember what his actual native name was, and I don't remember what it is now. It's been a minute.
I am not going to attempt it because I will fuck it up. I know. As you were, Travis.
Yeah, so I mean, Ezio's he has the most character growth out of any of them because he has 3 games of story to go through.
Yeah.
And very much he basically becomes the high seat of the Assassin Order. He's the top dog on their council. He's a Jedi. He's a Jedi Council member. It's just, that's how it is. I don't make the rules. If we want to get into my comic picks, my DC picks, the one Jared and I share, Jon Stewart, Green Lantern.
Yes.
I think out of all of the Earth Green Lanterns, Hal's too rambunctious.
Yeah.
Kyle's too mild. Guy is too guy.
Guy is too guy. What a sentence.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a reason why Anakin Skywalker ended up on the Jedi Council, because the head of state asked nicely.
Yeah.
That's how Guy Gardner ends up on a Jedi Council.
That's how Guy Gardner ends up on the Justice League.
That is how Guy Gardner ended up on the Justice League. That no, John is the only pick for the Earth Green Lanterns. He has such a this is going to be so much fun because there's so many different flavors of Jedi, right? And this is one of those ones that I think really embodies that sense of duty, and a steadfastness, but mixed with a tender humanity. That does kind of get lost with the Lantern Corps as like a network of characters. I think it's why. I mean, nostalgia being a part of it as well because of the Justice League cartoon. John rises to the top so often.
Yeah. I think he does the most in terms of like a leadership aspect, in terms of like, because Hal leads in the sense that he's the one who's going to shout. He's
charge. Yeah.
Yeah. He's Thor shouting in Endgame.
The best
where
part
everyone
of
else,
Endgame.
where everyone else is like, oh man, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. Hal's like, no, of course we can do this. We're the Green Lanterns. What are you talking about? Shut up. I don't see that being a council member. I see Hal being a healthy Anakin Skywalker.
There is a version of Hal that is like Anakin coming out the other side of the war, like with the leadership qualities, with that tenderness. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Jon Stewart does have a lot of like Anakin's better qualities mixed with the maturity Anakin never got to develop.
I would say that part of the struggle for this whole list for me was sorting out the Jedi from the Council.
Right? Yeah.
There's tons and tons of characters where I was like, ooh, I want them on my list. But I think about them and I'm like, but they're not like the 12 out of 1,000 plus that would run the order. They're just like an outlier.
I just swapped
you really
a few
have to
out.
hone in on. You really have to hone in on the quintessential traits of the Jedi and look for those specifically, not necessarily exclusively, because everybody makes mistakes, but just like who exemplifies those traits the best.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean that's the difference between John and Hal for me. I think John would be on the council and Hal would be like one of their front gunners, basically.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's the difference between somebody like, we like taking the prequel era Jedi, for example, or even the High Republic, the faces of the High Republic era, you have these like big time hitters, like with the Clone Wars era, with like your Windus and your Kenobis who like all sit on the council. But like for every one of those, you have like an Aayla Secura, a Luminara Unduli,
a Quinlan Voss,
who are just straight hitters, who are amazing Jedi. But I don't think they necessarily have that leadership quality.
Yeah, not council material.
Yeah, they're not ready for that council seat.
Yeah. My next DC character, Superman. Moving on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I also have Superman on my list. Like it's pure good. Like you do not get better than Superman. Needs no explanation. Jedi Master Kal-El, continue.
Jedi Master Clark Kent, I will raise you.
You're right. You're right. I went with the alien name because it's spacier. That is the only reason why.
My third DC character, because I have 3 of them, ironically given his recent movie flop, Barry Allen.
That's fascinating. Okay, you're good. This is one you're going to need to pitch me on. You got to convince me on Barry.
Blue Lantern.
You win.
Yeah. So
that was the shortest debate Jared has ever been in.
Let the record
he's
show.
Ever been in and conceded, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful.
You're right.
In a world of gods playing men, as we have discussed the DC universe being, Barry is one of the few super people who is human and super, but is so predominantly human in everything they do, and as such are such prominent leaders in their like in his hero community, in his community in general. The fact that he's one of the only superheroes to live like a semi-normal life with a wife and kids and a happy family, despite his trauma-filled upbringing. Again, sans the Ezra Miller movie, the whole story of Flashpoint that we just discussed on Heroic History. Go be a patron. $5. Like Barry saves his mom after a moment of great grief and realizes his mistake because he's lost his family. Right? Like that's such a big thing for him. When he in Blackest Night, when the lantern rings have to disperse, he's Hope. And what are the Jedi? Hope.
You're right. You're right. I think the thing that held me back from Barry, and maybe it is just because I have Flashpoint on the mind still from having just read it and covering on Heroic History, that like my mind went to that place of attachment that is necessary to do a Flashpoint. And it's something that Kaysen, one of your picks from the DC universe, I also kind of want to litigate a little bit because I think attachment is such a huge part of that character's background that it is the one thing that holds him back from being like what could be an amazing Jedi Master. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. But again, that's part of the fun of this conversation.
And part of my thing too, like because now my brain goes to Cal Kestis and Sir Junda, where so like their arcs to me involve this idea.
Let the record show it was Travis to first utter that name on this episode.
I don't think I was ever have become my favorite Jedi. Like Seer might be my favorite Jedi.
Oh, that's such a great pick.
Seer is based as fuck.
That is such a based favorite Jedi pick.
Also, wait, Travis.
I don't know what I said that just set off something. Just set off my Alexa, and it wasn't me.
Oh. Have you played Survivor?
I've played it 1.5 times.
Okay.
That's why Seer is like, because I liked Seer. Survivor does so much for her. It's so good.
Yeah, you could say that.
The arc, because I don't know if Kaysen's beaten it yet.
Yes.
I don't have it yet because I don't think my PC will run it, and I don't have a next gen console.
That's right. I keep forgetting that's the situation.
I've accepted that I'm going to get spoiled.
So. Okay, we won't say anything here though.
Well, without major spoilers, like the arcs of those games to me are about this idea that the Jedi aren't entirely correct about attachment, not foregoing attachment because of like what could happen if you lose it, but understanding the idea that attachment will bring negativity, but being able to work through that grief in a healthy way will only make you stronger.
I agree. And I also think, and again, this is its own episode unto itself. There is also an interesting conversation to be had between the difference between connection and attachment. That, that is very much like the difference between Obi-Wan who can cry and mourn over Satine Kryze versus Anakin Skywalker burning the galaxy to the ground because he cannot weather the storm of the idea of losing something he loves. That's its own thing. That colors everybody's interpretation of the Jedi in a different way. Is how you define and interpret that phrase of a forbidden attachment, which it makes this thought exercise we're doing just so much fun.
Yeah, so that's kind of where my brain went with these three. My last comic book character is the other one you and I share, Jared, is Steve Rogers.
Yes.
His arc in the MCU movies in particular, this idea that I attribute to Last Jedi Luke in particular, of coming to the realization that the bureaucracy of it all, the hard set rules of it all aren't what make Jedi. And this idea that like you can't base your morality on like just this arbitrary set of guidelines. is exactly the arc Steve goes through as he becomes disenfranchised with the U.S. military and the U.S. government. And it's a super Last Jedi Luke story without the like moment of old man Luking it,
Yeah. He never hangs it up. This may be the first time anybody's ever compared Steve Rogers to Ahsoka Tano.
But I see it. Yeah, now
Yeah.
that you mention it.
Yeah, I think there's a shared emotional core there between Steve and Ahsoka of that. Like, I believe in the philosophy here. I cannot stand by just the bureaucracy that is just the snake eating its own tail.
Yeah. And then my last two are picks no one here thought of. I know for a fact. Because they're Magic the Gathering characters.
Dude. Okay. All right. Just let me pause you right there. I struggled to think of a Magic the Gathering character that I thought was worthy of this list, but I couldn't think of one because I'm not familiar enough with the lore. I just play the game. So I was racking my brain for a Magic original character, but I couldn't think of one. Please continue.
So my two picks, Gideon Jura, who, again, I'm going to have to explain both of these, and a Johnny Goldmane. So Magic has what are called planeswalkers. They exist in a multiverse, but they're not like we think of a multiverse like a Marvel multiverse of like different timelines and different versions of events. The Magic multiverse is very much just like completely different concepts of worlds.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think of planeswalkers more like, to put it in a Star Wars context, like within each world, there's a different set of characters and creature types and just like a different vibe, I guess. And planeswalkers are like people that can just travel different planets and go different places. To put it in like a Star Wars, it's like they've got the power to just go to different planets and nobody else does.
The idea that the different universes are called planes, and each plane is basically a planet, but you have to have a specific ability that you're born with to be able to move between planets. Until very recently with lore stuff, but like you had to have a specific power that would let you move from planet to planet.
Mm-hmm.
Gideon is Magic Superman, effectively. He right, like his first. So he's a Greek tragic hero because he's from the plane of Theros, which is the Greek mythology inspired plane. He gets all his friends killed by accident.
Nice.
He freaks. Yeah, working for one of the Greek gods that is actually a dick, and then
this is even
ends
better.
up planeswalking. Yeah, and he ends up planeswalking for the first time because of that, and ends up multiverse hopping for a little bit until he's like, I can just go be a hero anywhere. Like I can just help people everywhere. And his real name is Kithian Yura. And the first place he shows up to help people, like there's something going on wrong, and he's like, my name's Kithian Yura, I'm here to help. And they go, Gideon Jura's gonna save us. And he goes, close enough. And he's just known by Gideon Jura for the rest of his life.
Jedi Master Kithian Yura passes the Star Wars name vibe check so hard.
Have you looked up a picture of this guy?
Okay. Let's do that.
I'm curious too.
High Republic Jedi.
I am sounding this name out.
Yeah.
Gideon.
Okay, I was going for his like real name. I don't know why I did that. Okay.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you'll find both.
Gideon, what was it?
Jura, Jura. Hold on. I might have a card like immediately available to me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's giving High Republic.
I would say even older.
That's you could actually like take this all the way back to like a SWOT.
Yeah, here, look at this.
Or like here, let me full screen you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, SWOTOR, definitely.
Yeah, very, very SWOTOR Jedi. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, it's not
Cool.
even the armor for me. It's the like his hair, the way it, and his sort of facial features, just very
Mhm.
old Republic type Jedi.
Yeah. So yeah, Gideon's just like, he has invincibility magic. He's Superman. He just helps people because he helps people. He's like the leader of Magic's Justice League, effectively, until he dies, because he dies.
Oof.
Most impressive for Travis to manage to find a way to put Superman on his list twice.
Most impressive.
My other Magic character is a Johnny Goldmane. He's a Leonin,
the
which means he's a
lion?
big lion. Yeah, he's a lion man.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I knew who you were talking about, but I didn't know anything else about them other than who they were.
Yeah, a Johnny is like everyone's dad, basically. Like for all the heroes, he's just everyone's cat dad.
He's like the Aslan of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, kind of.
Just a big lion dad to everybody.
But is he Jesus? Is he Dad Lion Jesus?
He has now officially kind of died and come back, so I'm gonna say yes. Like the most recent.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that.
The most recent story of Magic is like this threat called the Phyrexians that are basically like oil zombies. And he becomes infected and becomes a Phyrexian. And I didn't hear what Craig just said, but I imagine it's a joke about the U.S. military.
Yes, it was. Yes. Exactly.
But like he gets infected and becomes one of like the head honchos for the villains for a bit, because like you lose your mind essentially. Like your core aspects are still there, but then like you're kind of part of the hive mind. But they managed to save him and he comes back, and right now he's like dealing with, but everyone just kind of assumed once you're a Phyrexian, you're dead. Like it's just your body is left.
Kind of like The Walking Dead. Yeah.
Yeah. But Johnny's back because they can't get rid of their golden boys, literally, because he's a lion. And he, big mentor energy, big dad energy. He's always there to like guide people through their tough emotional stuff. Yeah, he's kind of, honestly, I put Superman and Jinbei on this list twice, if I had to be honest.
Even better that you managed to like quadruple dip.
But yeah, that's my 12. Assuming I counted right.
Well, you do that professionally, and you canonically can't read, so here's hoping. All right. Do we have any volunteers to go next?
I will go next.
Okay.
As you start, I'm gonna go pee.
Okay. Is there any way to begin this, or do I just kind of start, or do we want to start with
you
a
start
clip?
how you start. You can start. Yeah, start with one of your clip guys.
Okay.
If I have any say in what you're going to do, I need you to wait until I can see Travis's face for the one.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I will say this after listening to Travis talk about his 12, I will say this. I did not put anywhere close to that much thought.
Kind of same. Yeah.
This. Yeah. Okay. So Travis had very well thought out.
Travis is Kaysen is chuckling. I've seen his entire list. Kaysen's list is bananas.
I changed a few. We'll go back. We'll add the ones that I've changed to honorable mentions.
Oh, Kaysen, I have a shit ton of honorable mentions because I just kept changing like 1 to 2 people because I just could not pick.
I don't have any honorable mentions because I was thinking of like, well, there's this fandom, but
too many.
But nobody in that fandom is really very Jedi-like, and then there's this fandom, and I'm like, I also really don't know of anybody. Anyway, we're going to kind of I don't want to say blitz through these because I'd like to give an opportunity to elaborate just a little bit, but a lot of these I think are going to be self-explanatory, partially because I really struggled to think of any fandoms that I like other than Star Wars, but also Okay, all right. Here's another caveat. I tried not to pick any, and I hate that this is coming out of my mouth because Jared and I both listened to the Dissect Kendrick Lamar Best Track season from that podcast. I tried not to pick any normie picks because they were normie picks, with a few exceptions. Like if I was gonna pick from a certain fandom, I tried to pick somebody that maybe you wouldn't think of, but deserves just as much to be a part of the lineup. So my
Respect
first
it.
pick is one that really does not need any explanation. It's one that everybody predicted more or less would be on this list eventually, and I'm proud to be the first to say it. Aragorn, son of Arathorn, is like the absolute Jedi master of all non-Jedi masters. I mean, this guy has got everything that you really need. He is a unbelievably talented swordsman. He is an unbelievably gifted leader. He is unbelievably compassionate, and he has feelings, like human feelings. Cares so deeply about his friends.
I'm sorry.
The
what?
only non-Jedi master trait that he has,
Travis is like, wait,
Dude.
Magic the Gathering card.
dude, I've got it. I'm like I was curious to see. I bought all 5 of the precons, and I put together a 5th deck from the random hodgepodge crap that I had left for Aragorn the Unifier. So yeah, I can dig it. I can dig it over there, Travis Grossman. I can dig it. But Aragorn, like what more do you really like here is a guy. I've heard it said the best leader or the best ruler is the one that never wanted to be either one of those things. And I mean, is there any other character in the history of existence that you want to root for as universally as Aragorn?
I used to
I mean,
talking about movie Aragorn.
I'm talking about movie Aragorn primarily, but also
Okay.
book Aragorn. Like book Aragorn,
Okay.
just like with any film to movie adaptation, there's more to unpack with the book. But like especially I gravitate toward film because I gravitate toward film, and Aragorn is is a really awesome character, one that you really have a hard time rooting against because he is so nuanced and he is so human and he is so believable.
I've been experiencing Lord of the Rings for the first time recently. I've been listening to the audiobooks, and yeah. I lied on my nerd exam, dude. They gave me my card for no reason.
Same.
Kason, what were you trying to say real quick? Because
I was trying to say the same thing because I had not seen any of Lord of the Rings, hadn't read any of the books, nothing. And then I watched the Hobbit movies like back in 2020, 2021, somewhere.
I've seen the Hobbit movies, yeah, but I haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
And then I just watched the Lord of the Rings movies like a month ago for the first time ever. It was like, this is much better than I thought. I should have watched these earlier.
Yeah, it's
something.
I mean, I don't know many people that watch the Lord of the Rings movies and are still not fans of Lord of the Rings. I mean, it is like just as a franchise, it is so relatable. Like everybody's got somebody there. Like I feel like I'm that person, and so I will segue into a brief explanation of my second Lord of the Rings character for my Jedi Council list, and that is Faramir, son of Denethor. Faramir is my absolute, bar none, favorite character in all of the Lord of the Rings franchise, and it is for the very simple but powerful reason that he is every bit as good as Boromir in his swordsmanship and his leadership ability, but he is nothing as corruptible really as Boromir. Like the books are different from the movies in that in the book there's like never a hint that Boromir is going to give Frodo up to the enemy. There's like never a hint that he's going to give him up to his father and use the ring for evil. It's like, yeah, bro, we're bros. He's just so much, he's much friendlier in the book than he is in the movie. But even in the movie, you get a sense that like, here's a guy who's been clearly overshadowed by his older brother and is got unbelievable expectations put upon him by his dad. And yet he still decides to do the right thing. And he's awesome regardless of that fact. Like he's just so awesome. He's so cool.
I didn't,
like
for some reason, I couldn't think of Faramir. Because, like, for me at least, my exposure to him is really the movies. And so I really couldn't remember much of his character, even though I've seen those movies multiple times. So, like, I just didn't think of him. That's a good pick. That's a really good pick.
I will say this: two of Connor's video, like two of his big three are Middle Earth characters. And I think it's very fascinating that it seems like you guys both went in different directions with your Middle Earth picks.
But there are so many Middle Earth characters that are
Aragorn was an honorable mention for me.
There are so many Middle Earth characters worthy of inclusion. But I thought while we were on Aragorn, I'm also going to pick Faramir. But again, Faramir is my absolute favorite. Aragorn is the most worthy of inclusion from my list, but Faramir is like, man, how can you go wrong? Here is a guy that has literally got it all. He is a gifted swordsman, and he's one of the most empathetic characters that you're ever going to meet on in print or on screen. So I'm going to move on to my third pick, which is probably unusual, but hey, here it goes. Like I said, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into this. My third character for my non-Star Wars Jedi High Council is Jamie Fraser from Outlander, the TV show Outlander. Okay. And that is mostly because of two things. One, he's not a bad guy, and like there's no glaring character compromises, I guess you could say. Like there's not a whole lot, there's not much that's bad about him as a character. And if we're going for Jedi High Council, we have to hone in on like these quintessential aspects of the Jedi, these philosophies. He's a very wholesome character, other than like, you know, all of the sex that he has in the show. I mean, like in terms of what he believes in and what he fights for, he's a very Jedi type character, and he's also a really, really awesome swordsman. And you can look up like any of the clips. Go ahead, do it. I'm not going to explain that one much further, but for the sake of diversifying the franchises, I was like, Jamie Fraser is a pretty great swordsman. But anyway, I'm going to move right along as I pull my mic back up. Okay, here we go. I'm going to move right along to my fourth pick, the first video clip related pick that I have. And this is one that was kind of a joke at first, but then I was like, you know what? This guy belongs in the lineup. I am going with Bible Man. Jared.
Oh my God.
That's right. Do me in good. Perhaps it will soothe your rage. After all, vengeance is yours, Bible Man. Thus saith the Lord.
Romans 12:19 says that only God punishes those who are wicked. However, I will stop you from destroying Jordan and others like him.
Come on, Bible Man. Give in to your violent rage. Give into it.
Never. I will never give in to senseless violence, no matter what you say to hurt me. Jesus is my rock and my salvation.
We'll see how well your God protects the righteous.
All right.
It's unimpeachable. Like that was every single Star Wars protagonist who refuses the dark side happened right there.
So, Spencer,
Yes.
for some reason, I don't know if it's just a computer problem for me or a StreamYard issue. For some reason, the video just did not play for me.
Oh
God
no!
punishing you.
Oh no!
Like,
Is
Roll
that
it
the
again.
case for only Connor?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
what?
I saw it.
Yeah, I saw
I
it.
saw it.
Because like
Okay,
I
Connor,
it didn't play.
you give me a thumbs up if it runs for you. If not, we'll figure it out later.
Okay.
That's a no. Okay, Connor,
Oh.
I will send you the clip later, and you will shit your pants.
For the purposes of our discussion, the having watched the video doesn't really matter because we're going to talk about all the things about it that are like, yeah, this is Star Wars. First of all,
I'm so flabbergasted that I think I have to go now. I have to go think about what I've done. And by that I mean I'm out of time, and I love you all
we
very
are
much.
very glad that you were able
I'm
to.
glad Travis got to see the Bible Man clip. That's what matters to me, is that Travis got to see that hilariously Star Warsy Bible Man clip.
Glad you could join us, Travis. Love you, buddy.
Glad I could join you too. Have a good talk. I'll listen to this later. Bye.
So basically, my choice of Bible Man was kind of a joke until it wasn't, because we were in the group chat literally earlier today when I only had 4 names on my list total earlier today. And as a joke, I put out, Grandmaster Jesus Christ, because Jared said we're looking for fictional characters, not like historic. And I was like, okay, we'll see who we come. But when he said that, I was like, but what about Bible Man on the real life level though? Like because as a character, you cannot get much more on the nose about a Star Wars parody or a Star Wars, inspired thing. Like I grew up watching just a little bit of this show, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like Star Wars, but Sunday school version.
Yeah, it is a Sunday school special that they make sure every episode ends in a lightsaber duel.
And it is awesome. like all you had to do to make that clip just as easily out of an actual Star Wars movie was put Star Wars music behind it. But like the whole like he throws his saber. No, I'll never do that. I'll never.
You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
It's like
same fucking scene. It is the same scene.
It is the same scene. It is just straight up Star Wars. But
you could just switch the audio dubs and it still matches on either
one.
one.
It does not change at all.
Purely
whatever servant of Satan that was, like just give him a it's Jedi. Same scene.
Purely
it's the same scene.
Purely for the meme ability, but also because it's like they're using lightsabers and stuff. So Bible Man is on my high council. Moving right along, I've got 2 characters from the same franchise that I think are so deserving of being on the council. I've got Remus Lupin as a high council member.
Okay.
From the Harry Potter universe, because he is incredibly empathetic and is an incredible mentor, but also he could kick some serious butt if he had to. Like all of us, he's got some, skeleton in the closet type, not so pretty side of him type thing. But for somebody who literally turns into a ferocious man-eating beast once a month, he handles it really well. And like even after the fact, he's very humble about it. So Remus Lupin is an absolute G. And I know Jared and I have talked about it before. one of these days he's going to Comic-Con as Sirius Black, and I'm going to Comic-Con as Remus Lupin, and it's gonna be
that was
great.
written in the stars. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So Remus Lupin is 100% on my list, as well as Molly Weasley, which is kind of a strange take.
That is such a dark horse pick, and I love that.
Because I was thinking of because there's so many great characters in the Harry Potter series. There has to be a female character out there that would be a good pick, and McGonagall would be if I had a what do you call it, an honorable mention, it would be McGonagall, Professor McGonagall. But I got to go with Molly Weasley because she is just so wholehearted, so genuine, so protective in nature. It reminds me of like the Jedi's philosophy on life in general. She's prepared to defend it to the death against someone who is prepared to take it, but she herself is just like, you can't get more good-natured, good-hearted, just a generally good character. Unless someone evil is trying to do evil things, you will never ever see a bad side of Molly Weasley. But like heaven help you if you try.
Yes.
McGonagall was an honorable mention for me, as well as so when it came to Harry Potter for me, the only people I picked before I ended up going with other people were Hermione and Harry. But then I was like, yeah.
Like I said, I tried to steer away from the normie picks of any franchise, much against my own inclinations, just because I think they're
no, but I do think Harry. I think Harry again falls into that, and I think you can make an argument for Hermione as well. That there is very much that like, there's a difference between make a good Jedi and like Jedi Council level.
Exactly.
And I do not think Harry, until his like older days as an Auror, which are largely unexplored.
Yes. Exactly.
You do not get like what I would like comfortably call like Jedi Master Harry Potter.
Exactly.
Whereas both McGonagall and Hermione, I think, fall into that category of like they probably would have a stint on the council.
And then I also had Dumbledore as a pick before I ended up.
Dumbledore's
put a pin in Dumbledore.
Dumbledore is an obvious.
He's not a
He's not a
pick
mine.
of mine. I can say that right now. I did not pick him.
Well, let's keep rolling. Everybody will have a chance to explain their picks, but so I'm trying to put these in order to intersperse my clips throughout. My next pick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, why not? My next pick is from the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe, and this is a clip pick. So whatever Jared concocted for the clips, let's roll it, baby.
Yeah, he sent me a compilation of this character,
and honestly,
I ended up using all of them. That was the thing.
Honestly,
it was like all of these are,
It was a 16-minute clip. I watched all 16 minutes trying to find the right one, and I was like, honestly, the whole thing. Whole thing.
Yeah, so there are two stitched together here that I think are pretty good for Spencer's character.
Fire is the element of power. The people of the Fire Nation have desire and will, and the energy and drive to achieve what they want. Earth is the element of substance. The people of the Earth Kingdom are diverse and strong. They are persistent and enduring. Air is the element of freedom. The air nomads detached themselves from worldly concerns and found peace and freedom. Also, they apparently had pretty good senses of humor. Water is the element of change. The people of the Water Tribe are capable of adapting to many things. They have a deep sense of community and love that holds them together through anything.
Why are you telling me these things?
It is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Understanding others, the other elements, and the other nations will help you become whole.
All this four elements talk is sounding like Avatar stuff.
It is the combination of the four elements in one person that makes the Avatar so powerful. But it can make you more powerful too. I know we've had some difficult times lately. We've had to struggle just to get by. But it's nothing to be ashamed of. There is a simple honor in poverty.
There's no honor for me without the Avatar.
Zuko, even if you did capture the Avatar, I'm not so sure it would solve our problems. Not now.
And there is no hope at all.
No, Zuko. You must never give in to despair. Allow yourself to slip down that road and you surrender to your lowest instincts. In the darkest times, hope is something you give yourself. That is the meaning of inner strength. Fire is...
I mean, hit it again. Somewhere between Yoda and Qui-Gon Jinn exists Uncle Iroh.
Absolutely.
I can just say right
agree with
now,
that.
he's one of my picks. So
All right, well,
there
let's
we
all talk.
go.
Yeah, this is okay. So
There we go.
it is so funny to me that between so many Middle Earth picks between the two of you, Iroh is the one that you guys share. So both of you have the floor to talk your shit about Uncle Iroh.
I got nothing, man. I feel like the show just explains it all.
If honestly, go find that video of like the top 15, top 16 Uncle Iroh moments and just
Yeah.
watch it and come back and tell me that that is not a Jedi High Council member. I mean, he is unbelievably skilled in his craft. Like, he is a firebender, he is a lightning bender, and he is a teacher, and he is unbelievably empathetic, and in a way that is really uncharacteristic of the Fire Nation, to which he belongs, by the way. He is very universal in his scope of what it means to be a bender. Like, it is revealed throughout the show that he is a member of the White Lotus, which is like a secret society for interbenderary cooperation, communication. Like he's a good guy. Like, while all of the other Fire Nation folks are like conquest, he's like, why don't we have a cup of tea? Like, that is Iroh.
Yeah,
and
Iroh
it's
the goat for
awesome.
real.
It is so awesome. Like, Iroh is bar none like the best character of that whole show. I will fight somebody to the death over that issue. Iroh's just great. And like we saw in that video, a lot of the philosophy, a lot of the things that he shares are Jedi type philosophy. You know, find your inner strength. You know, don't try to do anything. It's all. But anyway, yeah, Iroh. And my
Iroh,
other
that's the
bender
tweet.
pick. Jared?
I said Iroh. That's it. That's the tweet.
That's it. My other bender pick is a very short and sweet one. I'm gonna pick Katara because
Also another one of mine.
yes!
Yeah. Dude, literally, there was that tweet. There was that whole tweet that like, it was reply with a non-Jedi character that you think would make a non-Star Wars character that you think would make a great Jedi, and it was Andres Cabrera that quote tweeted it with Katara, and I was like, that's the answer. No other ones. This is it.
No more submissions at this time, please.
No more submissions at this.
Honestly,
Anyone who is not Katara need not apply.
Yeah, it's like literally that was my mindset when I saw Katara on my Twitter feed. I was like, that's it. No one else.
It's a great choice. Honestly, it's a very, very good choice. The reason why I picked Katara is because she is, in my opinion, she represents the spirit of a Force academic. Like, you know, within the Jedi Order, there's a lot of different roles. She, to me, represents like an Oppo Rancisis or
That is so fucking good. Oh, that's so good.
See,
You're so right.
need
Oh
I
my
say any
God.
more? I mean, she is somebody who is like I am. I mean, throughout the entire show, throughout all of Bender, she is the one who's like, give me all of the scrolls. Like, you have some water bending scrolls, I want them. Like, how can
Give
we
me.
barter for these water bending scrolls? And I thought of specifically her with like the blood bending episodes where
Dude.
she like experiments a little bit with the darker side, and yet is able she is sort of Mace Windu-y in that way.
Yeah.
Like the blood bending is the wicked hag, I forget her name,
Yeah,
but
same.
that is blood bending, like, is the bad guy of the episode. And by the end of the episode, Katara uses blood bending to beat the bloodbender, and yet she never again once uses bloodbending as a way of controlling or manipulating people.
I'd
It's like
sort of compare her to Plo Koon.
it
That
is
almost has like an
very
electric judgment type thing to it.
exactly. It is of the same mindset of a Plo Koon or of a Mace Windu, where like, I'm going to use this which you use to your advantage, but I'm going to use it not to my advantage, but just to beat you, because you are using it to your advantage.
Yeah.
And like, that's a really, really awesome.
Absolutely. And hey, Luke Skywalker said it himself: to confront the dark side is the destiny of every Jedi.
Well, confronting fear. Well,
you're right.
Confronting fear is the
but
destiny of a Jedi. But to add on to Katara, like, again, really loyal to her friends. She'll fight for the greater cause. And I think one of the most important things about Katara for me is that, like, she's very warm and compassionate and will just help other people if need be. Like the Painted Lady episode, Spencer. Like, come on.
That's another banger. Not only is that another banger episode, that is another great case for Jedi Master Katara.
Katara and Iroh are just shoe-in choices.
They're so
all around.
Slam
They're
dunks.
shoe-in choices.
Slam
Excellent.
dunks.
Excellent. I will move right along. Let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left. So this next one is funny. Jared told me privately over the phone that Alden Diaz had predicted I would choose Aslan as one of my Jedi Council members. And I almost said, well, no, but over the phone, but I did not. To maintain an aura of mystery. So I did not choose Aslan as a Jedi Council member. I did choose Prince Caspian. If anybody is familiar with Narnia,
banger.
Caspian is such a great choice. I mean, not only let's just acknowledge he is so good with a sword. Okay, there it is. We'll put it aside. He is also incredibly conscientious. Like, he's a gifted leader, a gifted swordsman, but he also strives to do what is right in every circumstance. And he is an excellent example of somebody, like, it's literally right there in the movie Voyage of the Dawn Treader. He tells Aslan, I promise to be a better king. Like, I promise to be somebody who is better at what I'm already doing. And Aslan says, you are already a better king. Like somebody who understands they are in a position of leadership and they have an immense amount of responsibility, and yet they are always hoping to do better for their people. And they have to be reminded.
That's where Luke was at the beginning of his own order, or where Rey's going to be. Like that is so good.
Exactly. Like, somebody that realizes they always have further to go. Like, not somebody like, yes, I am doing it, I am it, but like somebody who recognizes they have further to go and yet is humble in that pursuit is an excellent characteristic of a leader in general. But even as a Jedi leader, especially, is just really awesome. Really, like somebody. Also in Voyage of the Dawn Treader, there's a character who seeks to use a pool that turns everything into gold to their advantage, and he's like, you can't take anything out of Narnia. And the character says, "Well, says who?" And he says, "I say so." Like that's just wrong. It's just wrong to do so. And he's prepared to defend what is right. And that is an excellent example of a Jedi trait. So Prince Caspian is my
The thing
is
that
my pick.
I'm sorry to talk over you. Your Prince Caspian pitch. I love about it is, we've brought up a couple times like, oh, like this such and such would fit in so well in this era or this era. The thing I love about your Caspian pitch is I can see him like thriving in both the High Republic and the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
very weird, which like typically is not the case. Like the Clone Wars would not be forgiving, or would leech on some of the better traits of the High Republic Jedi, and the Clone Wars era Jedi, I think, would be like just walking disappointments to a lot of their High Republic counterparts.
Yeah.
Prince Caspian, I think, could straddle both of those eras sensationally.
Hear, hear. So I've got 3 left. Let's roll my clip number 3, Jared.
All right, let me get this one pulled up, and then you let me know when you want to cut it.
I will leave it up to you. It's all good stuff, so just go until you feel like we're out of time.
I shall.
Guard the chest.
By your leave, Mr. Turner.
I'm just going to cut here just because I do not want to tempt the copyright gods.
We could go for a long. I mean, people will ask why I chose this clip over the Will versus Jack clip, and I think if you go and watch,
I also wanted to ask that question. Why your pick is Will Turner? Your pick is
my pick is Will Turner. Will Turner of Pirates of the Caribbean is my pick, and the reason why I picked that clip is because in its full scope, its full length, I think it better exemplifies Will's skill as a swordsman, more so than I think in the first movie in the blacksmith shop, Jack Sparrow is kind of just taunting him a little bit, just to explore, like, hey, do you know what you're doing? And so it is more of an experiment on Jack Sparrow's part than it is a full exhibition of Will's talent, his skill with a blade. So the reason why I picked Will Turner is one of those, like, he's conscientious, but he's got skill with a blade. It's like on every council you have to have somebody that is a gifted swordsman, and so as I was thinking about different franchises, it was like Will Turner is a gifted swordsman who is also conscientious, and that is a good enough reason to include them on the council in that category, like somebody who is very gifted with a blade. And through all 3 movies that he is showcased in, the first 3, you can see, like, this guy's got chops. He's got serious chops, but he also is conscientious, which separates him from the Captain Jack Sparrow and the Barbossa and the Davy Jones and the Commodore Norrington types. Like they've all got agendas. They've all got, like, I've got my morality, but whenever it's in my best interest to do something, I'm going to do it. And Will is the most conscientious of the bunch, so that's why I picked him. And it was the easiest to find a clip of him doing some stuff. So yeah, that's why I picked him. My penultimate choice is probably the least recognizable of all the choices, and so it's going to take just a couple seconds to talk through this. My second to last choice is another academic type choice, another non-combatant but primarily academic type choice. My choice is Stephen Maturin from Master and Commander, the Jack Aubrey book and film franchise. There's only one film, but it is like the best period film I've ever seen, and I watch it on a weekly basis because it's so good. Master and Commander featuring, oh goodness gracious, help me, Russell Crowe. Thank you.
I know Russell Crowe's in it, but I didn't know who you were thinking.
Russell Crowe is Jack Aubrey, and see, now I'm blanking again. Oh, this is terrible. Vision. Who's Vision? What's it?
Paul Bettany.
Thank you, Paul Bettany as Dr. Stephen Maturin. Throughout this movie, you see the battle-hardened, sea-hardened Jack Aubrey character put in check by the academic and the naturalistic and the conscientious Stephen Maturin. Like on every issue from, should you push the men this hard, to also like, you made a promise, are you going to keep it? And if no, how are you going to reconcile that with your own conscience? To also like, I recognize that there is a duty that you are here to perform, and that my personal objections take a back seat. But there's just a lot of really good conscientious considerations, let's call them, that take place within the movie. Especially, I haven't read any of the books, but they're based on or the movie is based on the books. It is Master and Commander. It is so good. It is the most historically accurate movie I've ever seen of any historical fiction movies. It is unbelievably good. And Paul Bettany's character. Go ahead, Connor.
I just need to rewatch it. It's been too long.
Oh my gosh, it is so good. I mean, coming from a reenactor, just like, wow. But he is always checking. He's like the player in chess that isn't necessarily trying to win, but he's always just trying to make sure that the person who's winning is understanding what it's going to cost them. And that is I think a Jedi trait. Just making sure at every point that the code is considered. He doesn't necessarily directly object or stand in the way of decisions, but he's like, but have you considered? That's him, right? So yeah. My penultimate pick and my final pick is one just partially, again, trying to avoid normie picks, but also realizing that normie picks are normie picks for a reason. Steve Rogers is my final pick for obvious reasons. And
cool.
And I will rest my case to the next.
And I was going to say, and anytime there is overlap, feel free to join the conversation there. I know you and Connor kind of knocked out some together.
Yeah.
Kaysen.
All right. Okay, so I sent you another clip in the email just now. Can you do that one, or is it too late to add it? I sent it a couple minutes ago, but I'm
here. You go ahead. You go ahead. Do a different character who doesn't need a clip, and I'll get that pulled up.
Okay, cool. First one that I'm gonna say, just because I know that Jared was gonna want me to explain it. Well, maybe not explain it, but talk about it at least a little bit. I had Batman or Bruce Wayne. Thinking about it, I was now that you said that, I was like, okay, the attachment thing. I didn't think about it. That was before I put a little bit extra thought into it, and I was just like, I mean, he's a badass, so like, yeah, Jedi Council for sure.
So here's the thing, though. What I think is fascinating, and I was having this conversation when I was like pitching the idea to a couple of their podcasters. We were like hanging out on a Discord call. Was that Batman is this really funny paradox where at once you have somebody who is willing to move heaven and earth, who is for his loved ones, somebody who is defined by a profound moment of loss, and has an arc of maturing past this need for vengeance. And all of these things are very Jedi. And then you get to that whole but then you get back to, well, yeah, but this is all built around attachment. This is all built around some of Bruce's most defining stories are about his attachment to his family, both his parents and his children. And then I end up in this weird place where I'm like, yeah, but he also stopped Jason Todd from killing the Joker. Where there's like
Right.
where this is this like there is this profound amount of attachment coming from him, but he also is capable of putting that aside. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, if we're going to talk about the difference between attachment and connection, I think by the time you reach a Bruce Wayne who's at his pinnacle, you've reached somebody who's figured out the difference between attachment and connection. And I spent the lead up to this episode pondering whether or not I was willing to put Batman on my list, and I chose not to because I was curious to see if anybody else would trigger this conversation. That like to question it. You did it. I don't think it's bait so much as it's just like a really fascinating conundrum, because again, as a tactician, as a martial artist, as a leader, he is
also
wise.
like as a student too.
Yes,
because he's the one with no superpowers, and half the time he's the one who ends up saving everybody's asses because he's like, oh yeah, I read one of the 500,000 books I have in my house, and it just so happened to tell me this about this.
Yeah,
and now I can win this fight for everybody and save the world, and everybody else is like, Superman's in the corner like, bro, I got laser vision. What the hell?
yeah, he's running laps around literal gods.
Bro can just read. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so like there are all of those traits.
Yeah,
but can he manage his attachments? I just think it's such a funny, just fun conundrum you find yourself in with one of the most competent characters in all of fiction. Is to go, yeah, Batman is all of these things. Could he be a Jedi Master?
Right, and that's,
and I think you can. There's a solid argument for it. There's a solid, amazing argument for it. Yeah. It's just I was when I saw that you had Bruce on your list, I was so happy because I was like, I'm so glad that we get to unpack that. But I do have your new clip ready, Kaysen.
Okay.
So I'll let this run, and then you can rock us through. Off to a great start with swords. All right.
I am so confused.
Okay, so
I don't know what I just came back to.
This is Genryusa Yamamoto. So he is a character from the anime Bleach. I also have another character from Bleach on my list as well. It's also what my cat's named after. My cat's name is Ichigo, after the main character of Bleach. Genryusa is he's essentially the Yoda of Bleach, if you want to think of it that way. Where he is the captain of the 13 Court Guard Squad, so he kind of already is. He is the Grand Master essentially. He's the head captain. He doesn't usually actually fight. Normally, it's like, hey, I'm going to dispatch this squad to go handle this problem that we're seeing here in this region, whatever. you go do this, you go do that. I'm sitting here at home and I'm gonna like just make sure everything's cool with everybody. But then in the new stuff of Bleach that's coming out, it's like, you know, big bad stuff is happening. So then Genryu says like, all right, I'm gonna go try to handle this.
Very much, yeah.
And,
Very much,
yeah.
Like the
Exactly,
wheels,
yeah.
the wheels have fallen off. We all need to go to Geonosis.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, so Genryu Yusai, like I said, like he's head captain, so he's already basically grandmaster. Super wise, like super old dude that has been through the fire, like been through wars and everything, and he's like earned his rank and all that stuff. But then also like when he does come out, like he is a bad motherfucker. It's like their abilities are like called Bankai, and his has like several different versions. So like at first he's like everything becomes flames because his Bankai is like a flame power. Basically at first everything becomes flame, and then like there's that second one where like all the flame disappears and everything just goes pure white. All the flame just goes into his sword, like it just into his blade. So his blade is like the heat of a 10,000 suns, and if you touch it, you just die. You get evaporated instantly. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
But yeah, so incredibly wise, incredibly powerful, bad mamma jamma, you know, the works.
Yeah, responsible for not only the it is not only the responsibility of like the countless under his command, but also the responsibility of immense power.
Exactly, yeah. Like in that clip, whenever like the flames all do disappear, like when his sword taps the ground. He doesn't swing it at the ground. It's literally like boom, and then that giant like the ground just is gone. After that, entirely gone. No ground left.
No ground left.
After that one, okay. There's a couple that I switched out here. I did add Malfurion Stormrage from World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Anybody else in here plays WoW? I don't know if anybody does or not.
No, but I've heard that name before, and I very
okay.
Yeah.
So Malfurion's a druid. He's the first like to make using druid magic mainstream essentially. But he basically is like he's the co-leader of the Night Elves. He's like OG druid basically for the Night Elves and everything too. So he's kind of similar vein where he's like Grandmaster, been here for years, like I'm the OG. And if anything is wrong, like he'll send other druids or other Night Elves to go take care of it. But then like when some shit goes down, he's like, all right, I'll show up and like because like when he shows up, if he like depending on what form he's in and everything, he has like giant fucking owl wings and he looks like a tree with owl wings. And he's like, what's up? I'm the entire wrath of nature. Time to get bent.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. His mouth. I'm gonna kind of just like shift through mine. Just like
Okay.
I also chose Master Splinter.
So we have triggered a shared one, and he's one of my clip characters. So let me
Nice.
run
Let's
that.
go.
Yes, I'm very excited to talk about this one. I just gotta find it over here on. Nope, spoilers. Don't look. Where did he go on this one? Stand by. You know what, Kason? Go to your next
another one. We'll go back to it.
We'll double back to Splinter. You do
All right.
another one, and then I'll have the clip ready.
All right. I also added Indiana Jones to my list.
That's a fun one. I like an older Last Crusade indie for that. For me. You know, like, well, yeah, because I can see that indie being ready to like manage that kind of responsibility, or like even like by the time of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where it's like, yeah, motherfucker, I've been doing this. You're not telling me anything I don't know already.
Right. This ain't my first rodeo.
This is my first rodeo, but also like based off of the way that like he takes Mutt under his wing. Like, you know, like he is a, you know, say what you will about that movie. I am a Crystal Skull truther. His leadership and ability to guide Mutt Williams is, I think, one of his stronger traits in that movie. And I could totally see. Now, Spencer and I haven't seen Dial of Destiny yet. That's our plan for this weekend.
I also have not seen it yet.
Kason, you're invited.
Do come Friday night.
All right.
I think, right?
Yes, that is yes.
Friday night. Yeah.
We'll see what's available.
we'll go from there. If it changes to Saturday, which hopefully it won't, but if it has to, it has to. We'll figure it out. We make plans on this podcast. Y'all know that. So no spoilers in the comments about anything that could like make Indy more or less Jedi, but like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull Indy, I can see very much. You know, he might be a little crotchety, grumpy Jedi Master, but I can totally see it.
I also would honestly just really like to see him with a laser whip. Like somebody steals a holocron, and you just hear that belongs in the Jedi Temple.
It belongs in the archives.
That'd be nuts.
I got my Splinter clip back. I had it uploaded. But yeah, no, I'm excited to talk Master Splinter because, like I said, he's one of my big three. I didn't say this. I didn't put this as like a parameter for our conversations. However, I also kind of I was like, when I made mine, I knew who the Grand Master of my order would be, and it is Master Splinter.
Raphael, come sit by me.
Couldn't this wait till morning?
You will listen now. My Master Yoshi's first rule was possess the right thinking. Only then can one receive the gifts of strength, knowledge, and peace. I have tried to channel your anger, Raphael, but more remains. Anger clouds the mind. Turned inward, it is an unconquerable enemy. You are unique among your brothers, for you choose to face this enemy alone. But as you face it, do not forget them, and do not forget me. I am here, my son.
These are another one of those instances where the clip finishes and you go, yeah. Very much like the Iroh clip, you know? Like
mic drop. Yeah,
like that's as Jedi as it gets, you know?
What more do you need to say?
You know, there's I would even go so far as to say it's like, I know that I've made myself infamous for being the number one Yoda hater. But avoiding taking a tone of admonishment for fear or anger, I think goes such a long way to helping a student who is more hot-headed. And if Anakin Skywalker could have heard from Yoda what Raphael just heard from Splinter, again, these are one of those situations where, you know, we're not going to blame the victims of a genocide for their own genocide. However, you know, the buck needs to stop somewhere with how the order got to where it was. And I think somebody who is able to use a bit more of a softer touch, like Splinter, could have gone a long way towards that. And on top of that, again, as it's come up 1,000 times here, you know, obviously he is a consummate warrior and a damn good leader, and he's able to level with his students in a way that I think is just unparalleled in fiction. You know, not even just his students. You know, like you have somebody who kind of isn't here for the whole ninjutsu as a philosophy and worldview. Somebody like Casey Jones come into the fold and also like very much defer to Splinter. Like it's not just his children who he's trained in this philosophy. It's any of their allies who have also, you know, kind of gone, oh yeah, the talking sensei rat knows what he's fucking talking about.
Yeah.
And defer to him accordingly.
It's the talking sensei rat. So mic drop there.
Yeah, mic drop there.
I also had Piccolo, as we discussed earlier. Travis and I both had Piccolo.
Yes.
The other. Okay, so I didn't realize I had 4 video clips. I thought I only had 3, and then one of them got swapped out. So then I sent you that other one, but it makes me still have 4. All right, I'll skip one of them. I'll keep the shit post one, and I'll take one of the other ones away. Let's go. We'll move on to the other Bleach character, Byakuya Kuchiki. I have a clip for him.
Yes, you do. Let me.
It's also him going into his Bankai, and Byakuya, very skilled swordsman. Very much the non-detachment of the Jedi, because there is an arc early in Bleach where his sister is put on trial because she's the one who like gives Ichigo Soul Reaper powers. So they're like, yeah, we're gonna arrest her and then we're gonna kill her. And Byakuya's like, I'll go arrest her, bro. I'll do that for you. I'll go grab her right now. Like I'll bring her back here. Y'all can kill her. That's cool. It's cool with me. She broke the rules. The rules is the rules. So he's very much the like,
very much a lawful good. Very much the way, and like again, like sometimes there are traits of like, oh yes, you'd fit right in on the Jedi Council that are not necessarily great traits to have.
right.
So here's Kaysen's clip.
Bon Kai. Scatter. Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi.
He needs some milk.
Yeah. So Byakuya is also just pretty. He's a pretty boy.
He's a pretty boy.
Very skilled, but he's also a pretty boy. So his Bankai is basically his. So like everybody's sword has like the Bankai form, or like they either they and or the sword take a different form essentially. So his is called Senbon Sakura, and then like the Bankai form is Kageyoshi. So basically, his blade turns into all those big blades, and then when he says scatter, they all turn into like cherry blossoms, but they're all still blades, and it just becomes this like he holds the hilt of the sword, and then he just like directs it, and it just becomes this giant like storm of cherry blossoms that just annihilate anything and everything and anyone in their path, and cool, it's great. Excellent Bankai, excellent animation on it every single time it appears. Fantastic. All right, other ones that I did not use clips for. I did have a clip for Lynn Cassidy from The Man Who Stared at Goats because I feel like
don't you worry.
Qui-Gon. Oh, we're gonna do all the.
Don't you worry. I got Lynn Cassidy. That was 30 seconds.
The Predator.
The Predator? Lynn, that's just a plastic.
See? You're mine now. The Predator is 100% biodegradable, it's friendly to the earth, and it can hurt you in 100 ways. It has warrior capacities, and it looks a little bit funny.
Jesus, stop!
Funny thing is, you could see this just laying around on the ground, you would never know that it has such lethality. Eyeballs.
I love The Men Who Stare at Goats. It is admittedly one of my favorite movies. Shouts out John Ronson. I saw The Men Who Stare at Goats. I just saw that you had that written in that email before I saw the character, and my first knee jerk was, did Kaysen really do this wild backflip to make sure that Obi-Wan Kenobi was still on the Jedi Council?
No, but I made sure that a clip of him was.
Nice.
I was like, I'm not gonna take Ewan's character from the movie, but like Ewan's gonna be in the clip that I pick. And so initially, I compiled a lot of. So the original list that I sent you, I compiled the most of that last night. So my initial pick was Bill Django from The Men Who Stare at Ghosts, who is Jeff Bridges' character, who is like the real hippie level. But then I was like,
Yeah.
We'll go with Lynn Cassidy, who is like next generation off of extreme hippie. So he's still got some hippie, but also he's got a little bit of the martialness. So he's a good, better in between.
Yeah. I mean,
which
but
is
I think it's really funny though that like the way you describe it, it's like from Yoda to Dooku. Like you said,
Yes.
Qui-Gon, but I would almost call Lynn Cassidy like your Dooku pick.
That's fair, actually. Yeah, that's
I
safe
think
to
it's
say.
very funny. I just also love that fucking movie.
Oh, dude, same. It's so good. I'm still so sad about the Kevin Spacey thing. Like, I just don't understand like why.
Oh, I
can't
forgot he was in that
cool.
until right now. I completely forgot. You're right,
dude. And like, all right. Anyway, moving on. We got Bianchi. We got oh, Tommy from Power Rangers.
Shouts out, rest in peace.
Every time, R.I.P. Jason David Frank. Yeah, like the red, white, green, whatever, black, whatever.
Yeah, and again, this is another
he's
character.
always.
And this is another character who's had to like face great darkness, like within themselves and
Yeah.
overcome it. Like that is such a perfect pick. I that's on your updated version of the list that I haven't seen. If I knew he was going to be on there, I'd have had the picture I took with him at Steel City Con where he was holding a green lightsaber with me.
Yes.
Oh, Tommy. Oh God, that's a great pick. Jedi Master Green Ranger.
Absolutely. Also, I put Gandalf on my list.
Leia.
And then I was thinking about it.
Dunk. It's a dunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Connor, is he on your
Crossover.
Okay, we got another
All right.
Connor hit here. All right.
That's three. That's three people on my council.
All right, Connor, take it away. I'll let you talk about it.
I don't got anything, dude. Just literally have to watch
right.
is the fucking clip where he returns in Two Towers. That's it.
Yeah.
That explains everything, and he's also just really freaking wise, and he's compassionate in his like own old man wizard type way.
Right.
So
Owner wizard.
yeah, that's all I got.
Shadow Wars and Money Gang. We love casting spells.
Hell yeah. Next pick, because I watched Percy Jackson earlier today. I chose Grover from Percy Jackson because Grover is a protector and he takes his role very seriously. To
He's
the
a
point where he
protector.
stays
He's a
behind
mentor.
in Hades.
That is such a yeah.
I mean, okay, he might have been hanging out with Persephone, but like still, who is played by our girl.
Rosario, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought. I was about to do the
I was
Darth
like,
Maul, Lady
somebody know?
Tano, Lady Tano, and I was like, oh wait, I'm second guessing
Yes.
myself now.
Nope. Yeah, you're right. You got it. Yeah, just pick that one because he was there. That is all of them except for the last one, which I also have a clip for.
Yes. I'm glad this is the one you're keeping. I'm gonna run the clip before you say it.
Thunder! Evil dwarf!
Jedi Master
Crimson Chin.
Crimson Chin.
Oh my god, that's such a good pick.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
Right. Whenever I saw Kason sent me his list.
I
before
tried
got
thinking of
Spencer.
Fairly Odd Parents characters. None came to mind. Crimson.
I
Crimson Kin,
I
baby.
said in the little KNR group chat, I was like, Kaysen has some of the most unhinged picks. And that was in reference to
Yeah.
Lynn Cassidy and the Crimson Chin.
That is
And
insane.
I was like, and I was like, oh, Kaysen's gonna have the funniest list. And then Spencer came through with Jedi Master Bible Man, and then like kind of bulldozed all of us there.
I don't know. The Crimson Chin is such a good pick.
A really good pick. Wow.
Right? Oh
Um,
man.
Okay, so my honorable mentions that I changed out of last minute. I did have my original pick for Men Who Stare at Goats was Bill Django, and then my brain was
Yeah.
like Django from Django Unchained, duh. So honorable
See,
mention
that might be
Django.
the first one that I would be like, you're dead wrong. Oh, that might
Yeah.
be the only
Yeah.
council pick so far. That
Yeah.
I'd be like, not Jedi material. I'd love to see
Upon
that
rethinking,
character.
yeah.
I'd love to
Yeah.
see that character in Star Wars. Don't think he'd be in that room. I
No.
don't think.
Who else are your mentions?
The other one I told you guys I had Dumbledore on my list as well, but I swapped out of him. And then last but not least, I did originally have Danny Phantom on the list as well.
See,
Which
I
think
was
is a
gonna have
solid
Danny
pick.
too, but I was like, nah.
I do think it's a solid pick because like you get into the idea of like having of having an individual as like a power thrust upon them, who again like has to make a grave choice at some point, you know, and like choose between the light side and the dark side. And I think Danny is again, it strikes a very particular archetype for Star Wars. I think it's a good pick on that level.
I think if we saw some later development for him, I think that would more.
Yeah, like older
argument.
hero. Yeah.
Listen, Nickelodeon, if you want to bring Danny Phantom back, I'm not gonna be mad at it. I will
Yeah.
watch it just so you guys know.
Paramount Plus gonna be bussin', please.
Right. That's please.
The
do
new
it.
adventures of Danny Phantom. We're begging.
But I'll voice act. You'll have to pay me, but not as much as other voice actors. So just bang my line. Let me know.
All right. Well, we're gonna move over to Connor, who I think has like 3 characters left. Because his list has been cannibalized because
Sorry, buddy.
Connor had his finger on the pulse here. So how many? So okay,
I'm glad we vibed this way though. That's
no, totally. But that's what I'm
So-
going to see is how much crossover there.
I
will
just
be.
want to say this off the bat. The big common denominator with all of my council characters is the fact that they're all just inherently good. That's mainly why I chose them. My first pick was Katara. We don't gotta say anymore. Second pick, Kim Possible. Again, super good into martial arts. I would assume I would see her as like a real good force wielder more than a lightsaber person. But like again, loyal to her friends, kind, all that stuff. Third pick, which I was trying to tell you, Jared, when you asked me if I had anything from like superheroes or whatnot, and I was like, kinda, sorta, Starfire from Teen Titans.
Okay. All right. Corey, Jedi Master
more about
Corey
that.
Ander.
So the big reason why I chose her, she's just an inherently sweet and kind person, will help her friends. And again, because of her like sort of extraterrestrial self, I see her as a force wielder. That's really all I got. Yeah, that's really all I got for Starfire. My fourth pick is going to confuse the hell out of pretty much everybody here and probably the comments before I explain it. Shigo. Specifically, Shigo from
Impossible
Stop
movie.
Team Go, where she is turned good by Jack Hench's attitude, by the Jack's Attitudinator obtained by Electronique.
So when Connor sent me his clips, I like the other 3 clips a lot more.
For
They're
sure.
going to be a little more striking. But when I was watching the Kim Possible clip, because this was one of his clip characters, I was like, I don't understand who the fuck who's the character here. And now hearing this, I'm like, oh, it was both Kim and Shigo. You were 2 birds of one stone.
Yeah.
Well, I do remember that episode, and I do like the idea of like hero Shigo. Again, it's very Jahani. you know, where
Yep.
like you have a character who's like very much been touched by the dark side, but like, you know, is able to push past it in the same way that like had Ventress not been killed by Dooku before the end of the war, I could totally see Ventress like rising through the ranks of the Order if she rejoined.
Yeah.
Because like she has the acumen and like had dedicated herself back to the light.
That's a lot more thought that I put into that I myself put into it. But because like my whole thing was like rewatching that episode as an adult, I was like, I wonder if this is like the best version of Shigo that like she wanted to be at one point. So my next pick after that, Uncle Iroh. We've already talked about him. Need I say more? My next pick, this is one of my clips. I'm going to pretty much just have 2 clips back to back, is another Lord of the Rings character. Good old Samwise Gamgee.
There we go. There we
Do you remember the Shire, Mr. Frodo? It'll be spring soon. The orchards will be in blossom. And the birds will be nesting in the hazel thicket. And they'll be sowing the summer barley in the lower fields. And eating the first of the strawberries with cream. Do you remember the taste of strawberries? Oh, Sam, I can't recall the taste of food. No, the sound of water. The touch of grass. Naked in the dark. There's nothing, no veil between me and the wheel of fire. I can see him with my waking eyes. Then let us be rid of it. Once and for all. Come on, Mr. Frodo. I can't carry it for you. But I can carry you. Come on!
Sensational.
man.
Sensational. What a layup.
It was
what a fucking
I'm gonna
layup
cry.
of a Jedi.
It was either that or there was another Sam clip I was gonna pick, but I was like, this is like the one that
you can't pick another one. It
I
has
can't
to
pick.
be I Can Carry You.
So
That is Jedi. That is Jedi compassion incarnate.
Faramir is my favorite character from Lord of the Rings. Sam is my mom's favorite. Like
based.
He is such a good
Based
pick.
Mrs. Simpson.
He is such a good pick.
So my next Lord of the Rings character is related to, well, not related to Aragorn in a way, but like it's Arwen.
Yeah.
And I have a clip for it.
Rimonin Bruinen Lanina Lair. Nino Hitaglia Lasto Better. Rimonin Bruinen Danin Lair.
This being the last Lord of the Rings character who's going to come up today, I just need to do a quick shout out to Jake Bartok, one of my favorite artists who does so much Star Wars fan art. Spencer, I've sent this to you before. He did an amazing Star Wars Lord of the Rings crossover piece. And every single one of the Lord of the Rings characters mentioned today just make me want to buy that piece more, because it just so perfectly encapsulates characters like Arwen and Aragorn and Faramir, and just Samwise, just like brought to life as Jedi and brought to life as like heroes of the galaxy far, far away, and just another banger slam dunk. I that moment where she's like summoning like the water, like I can see the version of this where this is a Jedi like unsheathing a lightsaber and like calling on the Force to do that same thing.
That was really the moment. That was really the moment for why she's on my list, because I was like, well, she's using this elven power to not only help herself and protect herself, but also Frodo under the influence of the ring wraiths at this point, and is like basically almost going to be in that plane of death for eternity. And so that was really just why I picked her. And I just think her wisdom as an elf would, again, bode well for a council member. My next pick, no clip. It's fucking weird, but there will be no explanation needed. Kermit the Frog.
Oh, Jedi Master Kermit. I love it. I love it.
I'm here for it.
I'll just go through my next other picks that aren't clips. So my next other pick that's not a clip is Mulan. Again, great swordsman, stout heart, compassionate, will fight for a greater cause.
Mulan's a slam dunk. That is that is not the last Disney princess on this list.
Oh wow. Gandalf, I think, was mentioned before, so him. And then another Atla character, the titular Atla character, Aang himself. I didn't want to choose him at first, but then like the more I like watched some clips about him and read up on his journey again, I was like, nah, he's got to be on the council, man.
Oh man, like I haven't seen any of Legend of Korra. I will preface what I'm about to say with that, knowing that we do get to see some of like what would ostensibly be Jedi Master Aang. Seeing his youth, seeing like the journey that he cut his teeth on, defeating Ozai, correct? That's the name of the Fire Lord?
Ozai, yeah.
Like defeating, like again, you almost get to that, like it's such a Jedi thing and such a Jedi way to defeat Ozai. To strip him of his power. It happens in Star Wars. It's how they defeat Exar Kun. They they attempt to. Is to just strip him of his force powers and be like, we're not going to kill you, but like we can't allow your reign of terror to continue, so like I'm going to sever you from your powers. And I think if every single Jedi was given let me rephrase that, any Jedi worth a damn given the opportunity to end a violent conflict the way Aang was given, I think would take that would immediately choose, I'm just going to cut you off from your powers.
And then my last person, another Atla character, which is my next clip. This was the perfect clip because I was like, okay, cool. This is the character. I need a clip of showing them like Jedi qualities. And the clip we're about to see was a slam dunk in terms of that.
Must have been some fight. Wait, Let me see that. Must have been some fight. Wait, let me see that. No, it couldn't be. Appa? Oh no. It's gonna be okay, Appa. I have to leave, but I'm gonna be back soon with help. No sudden movements. He's been lost for a while and he looks like he's hurt. He's shy around people and scared. Stay low and stay quiet.
I can't believe you found the Avatar's bison. Didn't you just see the Avatar a few days ago?
Yes, so he can't be too far from here. It's our responsibility to get Appa back to him safely. This could be our most important mission yet. Give him some space! Appa, it's me, Suki. I'm a friend. I want to help you. You're hurt. We can help you feel better. And we can help you find Aang.
I don't know why that one didn't go in after the way I edited it. Apologies for that. And here the fun little peek into my YouTube recommended feed. A lot of Vosh and the Surfs. One of those is more of a guilty
I
pleasure
think
than the
the clip speaks for itself.
Absolutely. The compassion, the tenderness. We also know just from previous moments from Suki in the show how decisive a leader she is.
Dude, the Kyoshi Warriors just in general, I just feel like would make such a great like offshoot band of Jedi.
Absolutely. I mean, I totally can see them in like that more militant role and being like the Kyoshi Warriors give me such Jedi Temple Guard vibes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll just send my honorable mentions in the group chat.
Okay, cool. We're like
I know
tweet
we're
them
short. I
tomorrow
know
when the
you and I
episode
are
comes
short
out.
on time.
Yeah, we are short on time, and I'm gonna kind of blitzkrieg some of mine. And I think I'm actually gonna skip over one of my clip ones, both for time and just because I fear. I know Warner Brothers stuff tends to get YouTube angry for some. Or Warner Brothers tends to hunt down clips of theirs. So I'm going to play it safe on one of mine. Would have been a clip, but use your imagination. The clip I'll tell you the clip I was going to use. It's Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones. The clip I was going to use was her pledging her loyalty to Catelyn Stark, which I think embodies. We've talked a lot about like the honor and duty bound nature of a lot of Jedi. It's come up a couple times, especially when we were talking about Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. I think that's very true of Brienne. I can see her being just one of those quintessential Jedi who are prepared to lay down her life in the name of the Republic. And just when I think of Brienne, I think of somebody who is just stalwart, who has like an indomitable will. And obviously, she's incredible. She's incredible with the sword, and most importantly, she's a protector. And I think that is the makings of some of our greatest Jedi. I will save my other clip for last. I made a joke earlier about not the last Disney princess. I got this idea yesterday. Jedi Master Moana of Motunui.
I haven't seen Moana yet.
You do yourself a favor. It's a banger.
I just haven't seen the latest stuff.
Shit rocks. And as I was watching yesterday, my girlfriend and I were babysitting her nephews, And you get to that scene where Moana's speaking with like what is ostensibly the Force ghost of her grandmother.
Nice.
And again, has very much one of those like it has a conversation where it's like I put a lot of the expectations on you were too great, but again you have this character who has this indomitable will, who knows that should she fail, the well-being of everybody in her village is up for grabs at that point, and takes it upon herself to do a job that a demigod failed at doing. And when we see her finally put the pieces sorry, Connor, spoilers. When we see her finally put the pieces together about what Taka is, her bravely and compassionately, basically throwing aside, very much like Luke, very much like Bible Man, throwing aside her lightsaber and just leading with the heart, like quite literally leading with her heart, and helping, show Jedi level compassion to this like lava kaiju in a very disarming way that saves everybody. I could not think of a more Jedi quality there. We've talked about Steve Rogers. We've talked about Jon Stewart and Superman quite a bit. Thor Odinson, I think, by the point, like if we're talking, I mean, Thor generally is somebody who would make for such a great Jedi mentor. He's obviously he's an acclaimed warrior, but his compassion, his kindness, his sweetness, his ability to to tend to children is something that I find very admirable about him. That his ability to like entertain a room full of kids, and kind of understanding that he is, oh no, Thunderer, I'm talking about the MCU specifically. Thor, circa Thor: Love and Thunder, where he reaches this equilibrium of like accepting fate, accepting his destiny, and accepting that of being a father. And in many ways, like that is the story of many Jedi when they take their first Padawan. And I can see Thor being a damn good leader within the Order, and one that the younglings look up to very much. Keeping in line with the fact that almost all of us have had a character who has faced great darkness, has fallen in many ways, and returns to the light. Siegfried Stoffen from the Soul Calibur franchise. Not going to get super in the weeds with the lore of Soul Calibur here because we don't have that time. Connor and I have 30 minutes before we have to be at a table reading for a friend. And so we do not have Soul Calibur lore time. I do want to do that at some point. But Siegfried was one of the hosts.
Measure of time.
Huh?
Such a great measure of time.
Yeah. Siegfried was one of the hosts to Soul Edge, the Cursed Sword, and in the time that he was possessed by the sword and driven mad by it, he had killed countless people, and had done basically irreparable, to his knowledge, damage to his living soul, including that of his father's life that he had taken. Once Siegfried came to and was released of Soul Edge's grip on him, he was obviously overwrought with guilt and remorse for what he had done, and eventually became the new wielder of Soul Calibur, the Spirit Sword, the sword that exists basically to cancel out the evils of Soul Edge, and became, I don't want to say hell bent, because I think that implies like an obsession and a darkness to it, but he became, single-minded in the goal of eradicating Soul Edge and saving the world from its grasp. And after he had thought he had done that, the Soul Sword went away from him, and he did not continue to pursue that power. He was happy to relinquish that power and continue as a leader and a protector in his community, but he was able to resist that very seductive power, when he very well could have just taken Soul Edge back up after defeating Nightmare, and could have in some way been angry that he had had such great power taken from him whenever Soul Calibur went away. he remained steadfast. And again, I think that is the mark of a Jedi, and shows the redemptive nature of the Force and how redemption in Star Wars works, which is a whole topic episode I want to do very soon. That you'll have somebody like Vader, or Anakin Skywalker, or Ben Solo, who are responsible and complicit in countless atrocities, and it is a matter of them proving, not necessarily to the people who may still hold them in ill regard for what they did, but the Force, proving to the Force that they are redeemed. And I think Siegfried follows a similar path there. Keeping in line with my fighting game boys, Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat. In particular, Liu Kang, circa the end of MK11, having basically becoming the new god of that reality, has kind of come through the other end of, learning to accept that responsibility, being a leader, being compassionate, being very protective. Again, has all of the markings of a good leader, and in particular a good Jedi. Again, especially by the point where he is grown past some of his more aggressive inclinations. My next one, going back to the Marvel route here, again coming back to somebody who is very good at defending a community, somebody who puts others so far ahead of himself that it is a defining characteristic of them. Luke Cage, aka Power Man, Harlem's greatest hero in the Marvel universe. My penultimate pick, before we go into my admittedly very long clip, is Peter Pan from Hook. That specific version. By the end, again, to me, like one of the defining traits of a Jedi is that ability. It is twofold. It is the selflessness, and it is the ability to inspire hope and to make those around you aspire to be greater and be better. Be that through acts of heroism, be that through paths of redemption, be that through just stopping to help people that it is not like the mandated group of people you're supposed to be helping. And and almost every single character when making this list, I was like, this is the moment that I went Jedi shit. And the moment at the end of Hook when Peter is picking his successor, and the way that the Lost Boys were just so, loyally enamored by him and inspired by him. That is what the Jedi should do for everybody. Anytime a Jedi comes to town, that is what should be happening, because people go, you know what? We can learn a thing or two from this guy, and get right like him. My big pick, the one that I was the most excited for here, and then obviously we talked about Splinter, is from my favorite show, maybe ever, but definitely these days, Dimension 20, something I've talked about ad nauseum ever since I got into it. To give a little bit of setup, the character of Pete the Plug, played by Allie Beardsley, they are the individual with the kind of shoulder length hair with the green highlights. I say that Allie uses they them pronouns. They're playing a male character. Just so you know who the player characters here who are relevant to the story are. Pete the Plug is being taken through the memories of my favorite character from this campaign, Kingston Brown, played by Lou Wilson. And Kingston is the Vox Populi of of New York City. For those of you at home with understanding of how D&D characters work, Kingston is a cleric whose deity is New York City. He draws his power from the people, and thusly is the people's protector. And this is Pete getting to witness through the magic of the sixth magical borough of New York in the dream world, how Kingston became who he is. And you'll hear from the main villain of the campaign, Robert Moses, who is this embodiment of like the worst impulses of the American dream and the darker side to that rugged individualism, as somebody who looks forward to setting man against man in the name of getting what they want and need. So yeah, those are the important characters and voices you'll hear in this tale, and I throw it to Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Start to go through Kingston Brown's life. You see, in the like late 60s, early 70s, like a young boy running through the streets of Harlem, surrounded by family and community. Lou, you see like passing images of things. Lou, I'm going to throw a curveball at you right here. And I'm going to ask you to play Kingston Brown throughout the ages.
You got it.
You see Kingston Brown as like a 6-year-old watching as like a young girl on this like playground outside of a public school is like crying over in a corner with a skinned knee, having been pushed down by some of the other boys here on the playground. What does Kingston, young, like 7-8-year-old Kingston do?
Excuse me?
Yeah?
You need a Band-Aid?
They wouldn't let me play the game with them.
Hey, that's fine. Kids can be mean, but we can get that patched up, and then we can play.
You see the scene shifts to Kingston, Kingston giving up his own recess to walk this little girl to the nurse's office and showing up there and being there with her while she gets a Band-Aid on her knee. We cut over to Kingston in his sort of like teenage years, a little bit younger. You see that Kingston, this is a time in your life where your grandmother, who's no longer with you in the present day, is very ill. And you see that there's a meeting at school where there is sort of a teacher talking and speaking to both of your parents, Miss and Victoria, and saying, Kingston is a very gifted athlete. We would be able to take him around the country. He'd travel around. He would obviously not be able to be here in New York, but this is a potential for Kingston to really shine. And you see your parents kind of look at each other and look at Kingston.
I can't. Not when Grandma's sick. Maybe we can talk about it in the future, but I'm sorry, but I need to be here.
We see a Kingston in his college years speaking to a admittance counselor at a high school saying, with these scores, Kingston, if you're interested in medicine, you could be a doctor. You could be making hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, that's hyperbole, but you could be making a lot of money.
Yeah, but the problem, I mean, is there anywhere in my neighborhood where I could stay? Because I'm not really trying to be too far away. I mean, especially because I know it's about 8 years of school, and that's just a long time to be so far.
But we're talking about scholarships to Cornell. We're talking about places where you could think of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's easy to do, but there has to be a way to make this work here.
You see a Kingston around the age of 30. This whole time in your head, you hear Nod going, dreams and the waking world. You represent the force of an individual's dream, the need for a person to be themselves and shine their own light. Kingston represents the other side. He has always and forever made the choice to serve those around him. And you hear Robert going, fucking schmuck, look at this fucking idiot. Every advantage and opportunity thrown away, and for what? And you see Kingston is 30. There's this insane dragon on Bleecker Street, this long, multi-legged dragon, handing him this subway token and saying, you will be the Vox Populi of New York City.
You have to say that again. Vox what?
You have given of yourself time and time again. Now images staggered up and up and up. It's like Kingston like missing a party to help someone move. Kingston showing up at someone's doorstep with food. Kingston showing up at a rally for the neighborhood. Kingston showing up at City Hall to speak on behalf of people that can't speak for themselves over and over and over and over and over again. And the entire city, you can hear, thanks, Kingston, thank you. Thanks, Kingston, thank you, thank you. And all of those thank yous flooding into Kingston's body. And you hear Robert in your head say, no, everybody's got one time they do something selfish. Everybody's got one time they make the call to enrich themselves. That's in our nature. And you see a young Kingston Brown looking at Liz Herrera walking down the street and Nod saying, to invite her into his world would be taking all of what was destined for her and forcing her into the madness of the unsleeping city. But you see this like bond of true love connecting the two of them, and you see Kingston's heart break and reach out, and he and Liz twirl around in memory until many years later, you see him and Liz saying, we could have a house, we could have a car, we could have kids.
I can't leave the city. I've explained this before, all right? You can go, but I have to be here.
Where am I? You could get your doctorate and we could have a good life together.
That's not a good life. Not for me. My good life is here and with you, but it has to be here.
You see, she looks and says, and I think our lives shouldn't be together, and vanishes. And you see that images of possible futures. You're like at the edge of memory now, going back into dream, and you see Kingston with an ephemeral, changing, happy child in his arms, and that vanishes. And you hear Nod say, dreams in the waking world, often at odds. And Robert says, only a fool would give up what he wants. Look at all that idiot sacrificed, and for what? To be alone and sad. Vanishes, and you are at the exit of the museum.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty base Jedi material.
I just love Brennan.
Brennan's great.
I love that man.
I can't.
That DM deserves an Oscar.
You got to start watching Dimension 20. But yeah, no, I just Kingston Brown. Maybe it is my need to like make all of the things I like into one thing. But yeah, I remember when I saw The Unsleeping City for the first time and I finished it, I fell in love with Kingston so instantaneously, and that is it. Just as a character, that's what being a Jedi is. And I've considered, like for a moment I was like, because again I had the attachment question, and then I realized that it isn't a matter of attachment. Like he is chosen to let anything that could be an attachment run right by him in the name of being a selfless protector. And I just what a damn good Jedi Kingston Brown would make. Anybody who's seen Unsleeping City season 2, don't put any spoilers in the comments. I haven't seen it yet, and if anything bad happens to Kingston, y'all are not going to hear from me for a hot minute. But yeah, that is my list. Real quick, before we wrap up, I'm not going to be able to get it to everybody who submitted some on Twitter, but I do want to hit a couple as kind of like our pseudo Q&A segment for this episode. One of Connor's co-hosts over at For the Republic, Donovan, floated both The Bear in the Big Blue House and The 10th Doctor. Fun.
Both based as fuck.
Based.
I should have taken Bear in the Big Blue House. Mistake on my part.
This one baddie named Taylor who responded to the tweet. Very cute. You had a boyfriend? Floated Olivia Benson from Law and Order, and Eraserhead from My Hero Academia. Molly Damon of Star Wars Explained suggested Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. A fun run from friend of the show, Nikki Kumar of the Imperial Senate podcast. Pitched, he gave us 4 here. Galadriel, Willow,
based,
Yogurt, and Yennefer.
Let's not debate these.
Some good ideas here.
Let's not debate these.
Let's move on. Yeah.
Good fun picks.
I was going to say, Eli, our good old commish, said short round.
Okay.
One Scotty J-Ro pitched Jedi Master Paul Stanley. And then we'll go out on...
Give or take.
We'll go out on friend of the show, Alden Diaz, who suggested Captain Pike, Uncle Iroh, Charlie Kale from Poker Face, and Jane Foster Thor. So yeah, you guys leave your Jedi Council lineups in the comments. We're going to be bringing this bad boy to a close here, and you'll hear from future me again to do all the outro stuff. Pardon my hiccups. So yeah, there's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to hearing what everybody else's lineups look like, and I hope to do something like this again soon. I have an idea to do a reverse of this on Teen App to dive in with Star Wars characters on a more superhero oriented thing, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, future Jared, and we are back. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Obviously, we didn't get to do our little amalgam Jedi Council as I had wanted to. We were coming up on time. Connor and I had a prior engagement that we had to speed along to. All of that said, though, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I had a blast making it. This is an episode I'm very proud of, very excited about. I enjoy doing these topic episodes. Little rumor mill going around says that apparently an Ahsoka trip. My hiccups are so bad. Allegedly, there's an Ahsoka trailer coming out today when you're seeing this. If I'm wrong, I apologize. That's just the word I've heard on the street. So if that Ahsoka trailer ends up coming out, you can expect us to talk about that on the next Knights of the Nerd Republic. And I'll be very excited to talk about that. But in the meantime, that's all we have for you guys. As I said earlier, there will be there's also be a Nerd Academy coming out this week talking about Secret Invasion, talking about that beautiful Wolverine costume and more. Heroic History 101 is back. $5 patrons. Get on over there. Check that out, as well as our entire back catalog of the Versus series. Can't recommend that enough. Also, help out your favorite nerd to do it. Speaking of which, you guys can find everybody on their socials. I believe they were all on screen this week, so you go find everybody there. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon.
Hey, give me $1.
Give me $1, guys, back. I was already saying, $5 tier gets you access to the KNR Versus series as well as Heroic History 101. And speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Keandre Lloyd.
Colin Provolone. Sir.
So good.
Steal yourself, Colin! Steal yourself!
This is me stealing myself! And to Paco and his co-patron, Alex Jones.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
And to our dear patron, Ray Clausen, or as they prefer to be presented, as a shout out to Equality Texas, a charity helping protect queer youth in the Lone Star State, a charity that was backed by the Amidala Initiative, for those of you who remember that. So yeah, go check out Equality Texas and considering donating to a very, very worthy cause down there. With that, thank you so very much for joining us. I hope you all enjoyed this very special episode. If anybody has any ideas for something like this, reach out to us. You guys know the drill. Like I said, the best way to get a hold of us is on Patreon, where you can respond to our weekly Q&A post where you get your questions answered every week. Twitter, the comment section in the YouTube version of the show. Let us know if you would love to see another episode like this and how you'd like to see it done. I am super down to try to extrapolate the Star Wars universe onto other fandoms. So again, thank you so much for watching. We are honored that you have joined us, and may the Force be with you always.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.